Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me Shell Bhatnagar. Well, the Nifty registered its worst week of 2024 ending Friday. In fact, the markets witnessed a broad-based selling pressure during Friday's trading session as well. And that marked its biggest fall in 4 months too. And the Sensex also dropped by about 1,000 points in 3 out of last 5 sessions. Last week, we've also seen that the Nifty gave up a lot of key support levels, ended at a 1-month low as well. All the BSE listed companies collectively lost a market cap of 19 lakh crore rupees in the last week alone. And of the 50 Nifty stocks, 48 delivered negative returns in the last week too. And at least 30 of them fell by over 5% as well. So it was a sharp sell-off kind of a week that we actually saw. Now going forward, the new week will be a shortened one due to holiday, due to Christmas, and participants will also be closely monitoring what the FII flow trends are, the global market performance for direction will be, and additionally the scheduled expiry of December's derivative contracts may also be key to watch out for if it could amplify any more volatility that we've been witnessing. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shell.
Good morning, Sakshi. For a change, I'm at a loss of words. It's just probably the winter that's creeping into Delhi, and it's wonderful outside but terrible as far as Dalal Street is concerned. We have a series of very heavy sales. You've mentioned some of them. FIs continue to be very, very bearish. They are selling post gap down as well. I think Friday's number is in excess of 3,500 crores. Is it?
Yes, absolutely, Shell. What we've actually seen that this is for the 5th consecutive day that overseas investors have been, selling off in the Indian equity markets. For Friday, the FPI sold off 3,597 odd crore rupees worth of sale.
Right. So with that number in mind, ladies and gentlemen, please also remember the fact that you will have a gap up today for various reasons. We've sold off for the last 5 weeks. We've sold off for the last week, all 5 sessions. Before that, there's been immense selling pressure. And of course, you have all sorts of negative news coming in. The first and foremost one is from the GST Council. There was hopes that you will see a rate cut on taxes as far as medical, non-life, life and other insurance products are concerned. But that has not happened. That's a sentiment dampener. So whatever gap up you see because of overseas markets, smart investors, FIs will take that as an opportunity to press further sales on the Nifty, especially as also the Bank Nifty. So no support is holding. We just have to sort of pass time between 9:15 and 3:30. Be that as it may, we have seen great days over the last 4 years, some euphoric moments on Dalal Street, and we now need to girdle up, get ready for probably more pain in the system. What else is negative? Sakshi, we have a day's holiday on Wednesday, which essentially means that options premium will be squeezed further. It's Christmas in the world, but none of the exchanges, neither the US nor the rest of the Asian markets or European markets and Indian markets are seeing any bright cheer, any any Santa rally in the offing. Let's hope that this pain gets receded in December. Come January, the first week, you will start having third quarter results. The market has corrected substantially between September and December. And let's hope whatever tepid, whatever modest, whatever weak third quarter earnings come in, they have been priced into the market. And from January onwards, we see the return of FIs and we also see sentiment coming back. I have really no positive things to put in front of you, except the fact that the enthusiasm for budget related stocks will continue. Keep focus on railways, fertilizers, to some extent PSU companies, and of course defense. So these are the 4 themes that are looking, and in terms of sheer strength, sheer relative strength in the market, it is IT stocks and pharma shares that will provide support to the broader market at a time, Sakshi, when many charts are now getting violated. Just look at the long-term chart of Asian Paints. You will not believe we are in the COVID phase of the prices that we have seen on Asian Paints, and this is a time when probably you've seen such large-scale buying of luxury homes. You've seen so much of real estate stocks doing well. Here is one of the finest companies related to real estate which has done nothing. In fact, it's fallen very sharply, down 5% in last week, down 1% over the last 30 trading sessions. And if you see the long-term chart, Asian Paints has done, how should I say, a lot of painful journey for long-term shareholders. So apart from Asian Paints, you see Reliance in pain. You see a lot of other stocks like UPL, like IRCTC in the F&O space, undergoing a massive bout of correction and consistent delivery-based selling. So that's the structure. And for those who have a long-term faith in the market, and they should, everybody of us should, we should use this opportunity to get into quality stocks and buy quality mutual funds, put in that one extra SIP, maybe 1 year later, 15 months later, we'll have a party because of that one single SIP that you put in for September, for October, November, and now December. Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shell. So remember, viewers, as far as the global cues are concerned, last Friday what we've also seen is that the Dow Jones Industrial Average added about 1.1%, S&P 500 about 1.09%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq about 1.03%. After the personal consumption expenditures price index, the US Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge accelerated lower than expected to 2.4% in November from 2.3% in the previous month as well. There was also positive sentiment across Asia markets this morning. This was also led by a recovery on the Wall Street as well on Friday. Remember, we've seen all across the board green screen coming in. That is a sigh of relief. So Nikkei 225 was up by about 1% in the morning trade. What we've also seen is that the Topix is trading about 0.8% higher as well. The Hang Seng is up by 0.5%, Kospi up by 1.3% as well. The Chinese index 0.3% higher, and the GIFT Nifty is also indicative of a gap up start in today's trading session to the tune of 23,812 now. That could be definitely a big sigh of relief as we enter into the Christmas week right there. I've already pointed out the overseas investors figures for Friday, 3,597 odd crore rupees of sell-off, whereas DIIs bought 1,374 odd crores. In the last 5 consecutive days of sell-off that FIIs have done, they've pulled out stocks worth 15,828 odd crore rupees in shares. So we'll keep an eye out on what the flows are like in this week as well. Of course, in terms of stocks, you can keep an eye out on Zomato today. It will enter the BSE Sensex, replacing JSW Steel. Apart from this, shares of M&M, of ITC, Infosys and Sun Pharma will also see some changes in their weights within the index, so we'll keep an eye out on that too. We will also keep an eye out on Reliance Industries. Its arm Reliance Digital Health has entered into an agreement to acquire 45% stake in US-based Health Alliance Group for $10 million. And the acquisition is going to be helping develop a virtual diagnostic and care platform, expanding access to healthcare for the underserved communities. Vedanta will be in focus. It's announced revisions to its previously proposed demerger scheme, deciding to retain its base metals undertaking within the parent company. The decision follows discussions with the stakeholders, including lenders. It was approved by the board on December 20th, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Ultratech Cement, it's going to be acquiring about 32.7% equity of India Cements held by promoters and members of the promoter groups, making an open offer for 8.05 crore shares or 26% of equity at a price of 390 rupees per share from public shareholders too. We'll keep it out on the cement space because of this. Piramal Enterprises board has approved raising of funds up to 2,000 crores via QIPs in 1 or more tranches, so that will be also in focus. Fortis Healthcare has also acquired 7.6% stake in Agilius Diagnostics for 429 odd crores, so we'll keep an eye out on that too. NTPC Green will be in focus. An MOU has been signed with the Bihar government for investments to establish renewable energy projects. We'll keep an eye out on that. We will also focus on Oro Pharma. Its arm, Cura Tech Biologics, has received marketing authorization from UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory, or MHRA, for Bevclova, and this is used for the treatment of multiple cancers, including metastatic colorectal cancer as well. We'll keep an eye out on that. So apart from this, we have a whole host of brokerage houses updates that we can look at. Citi has come out with a buy rating on Ultratech Cement with a target price of 12,500. We have Investec on Greenply that has a buy rating and a target price of 420. Elara Capital has come out with a buy rating. It's upgraded the stock Indigo or Interglobe Aviation to buy now with a target price that they've raised to 5,309 crores. So those are some of the brokerage houses updates also that we can keep an eye out on. Shell.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us in person is Mr. Chakri Lokpriya, Managing Partner at Red Strawberry LLP. Namaskar Chakri, and a very warm welcome on Market Today television. While our welcome is always very warm, it's almost frosty on the Lal Street as far as sentiment is concerned. I can't see a single chart structure that gives me hope unless you look at India VIX or unless you keep in mind how put prices are rising in options markets. How do you see sentiment on the Lal Street? What have you done in the last 10 odd days, and what should we do?
Namaskar. You're absolutely right. You always sum up things really well. Now, in turn, I think we're in for this frosty weather to continue, I guess, for the rest of the week for the markets, because there is no clear catalyst, which is going to take the market up. The only silver lining is the stock prices have corrected quite a lot, and therefore we can see individual pockets of opportunity, and that's the way to approach it. Some of the cyclical stocks have corrected quite a lot. Banking has corrected quite a lot. So those are the segments we can look for.
Morning to you, Chakri, and thank you so much for taking the time out for us, and in this important Christmas week as well. May the Christmas cheer continue to spread across your personal and professional life as always. And I want to understand, with respect to the macro decisions back home taken on the GST Council meeting, what is your key takeaway on that? How are the markets likely to react onto those key takeaways, especially on the auto segments where changes have been done on the EV front, which was largely expected as well. But in terms of the listed space, this is one space that investors will be watching out for any reaction on that.
The GST rates on the used car sales is going to kind of impact the overall profitability of an individual transaction, because there's always a net sell and a net buy, and so that reduces the purchasing power of any potential buyer. When they sell their vehicle, they pay an extra GST, and that reduces the takeaway in turning around and buying a new vehicle. I don't think that's going to really help the current situation. I think we have to wait a little bit more until some more clarity emerges.
Chakri, the other issue that is buffeting Indian markets, of course, is this fear on the Lal Street that third quarter earnings would be terrible compared with the distressing second quarter that we've already seen. Which side of the equation are you in? As far as whole of January is concerned, or the overall structure of the market is in front of you, do you think third quarter earnings have been digested by the market, or should we wait for Nifty below 20,000?
If you looked at, for example, Siemens, what it had to say, they said private capital expenditures has not yet picked up, as a result of which, the sales and earnings are being revised down by somewhere about 10 to 12%. So this gives us a kind of an indication of where the overall private capital expenditure is still weak. And therefore, earnings are likely to be again revised down. Mind you, the markets fell 10%. The earnings were cut about 7-8% in the current going quarter, in the just concluded quarter. And they're likely to be cut by, I guess, another 4 or 5% in the coming quarter. And now on the back of that, markets also have corrected. So I think, it won't be such a big negative surprise as results come out. But clearly, I think, we need a catalyst for the earnings to be at least to bottom out.
Okay. Chakri, you did say that while the things may be frosty for a little while more, there is probably increasing valuation comfort in the pockets where there has been some good amount of correction in the recent fall. So which are the pockets that you are comfortable with deploying fresh funds in right now?
IT is a very safe sector too because, its fortunes depend upon the export markets, largely the US markets, and their earnings cuts have been have largely not been there. And if anything, there's going to be probably an uptick in revisions for the IT sector, both mid cap and large cap. So whether it's Infosys, TCS, or, Cyient, the ERD companies, KPIT, those companies, I think will see an earnings uptick.
Yes, and in this space, this defensive space in the market, which may provide hope and support for long-term investors as also traders, what is your view on the forthcoming budget as far as markets are concerned? Any sectors that you see are showing signs of early momentum, maybe railway, maybe fertilizer? How do you see this space? The only hope now that we have is that this domestic kicker, which always we see in the first week of January till first week of Feb, when the budget is announced, starts to kick in.
You're right. In terms of, as far as the railways and defense and some of the other PSU sectors are concerned, is railways and defense, which will probably see, again, there is no big positive surprises because there is expected that the allocations will continue. I don't think because given the fiscal deficits, it's unlikely that the allocations can increase further in the upcoming. And also, the stocks have corrected quite a lot, so they're unlikely to fall further. So, and as far as fertilizers is concerned, I think that's been a very hit and miss as far as the company's profitability is concerned. So that's a sector which I'll stay away from.
You'll stay away from, okay. Chakri, okay. You took the name of banking space as well, where you would be really looking at for some opportunities. Within banking, what is interesting you at this point in time? Would you continue to stick with the private names, or do you think PSUs have had their good share of correction and can now be again looked at? How are you approaching the entire banking space now?
Yeah, I think good point. I think we'd stick with the PSUs, whether it's State Bank of India, Canara Bank, Midcap, or some of the NBFCs, the power financiers, for the reason that if we assume that the government capex will continue and private capex will continue to be weak, government capex will continue to be fairly good, then the primary beneficiaries is the PSU banks and the PSU NBFCs. So I think that's where the books are also clean, the NPAs are low, the provisions are good. Yes, NIMS is affected by both private and public. The valuation correction has happened, so PSU banks.
$8.56, ladies and gentlemen, we are just 4 minutes away from the pre-open, and we are with the Chakri Lokpriya. The other thread that is doing pretty well is cement, and after quarters and quarters of lackluster performance, we have a phase where all cement companies got together and raised cement bags prices between 10 and 30 rupees per bag. Any favorites? Also, Ultratech has been given this go ahead for the India Cements merger from the Competition Commission of India. What looks good in this space, Chakri?
In the cement space, I think it's best to stick with the leaders, which is Ultratech, Ambuja, and ACC. These are the companies now. They have the greatest pricing power, if any, yeah, because it's now become largely a volume game. In a volume game, companies with large market shares can have some amount of price increases. If you look at the overall industries, even of the recent price hike, it has been kind of in line or below inflation increases. So it doesn't really do anything much to improve the margins. So against this backdrop, Ultratech and Ambuja is the companies that we'll stick with.
Okay, got that. Apart from this, Chakri, if I were to ask you, within the mid and the small cap space, are there any pockets of interest that are emerging with the kind of recent correction that's played out, but some of the resilience has continued to be displayed across mid and small caps over the last week, 10 days or of correction as well. So how would you approach this space particularly?
In the small and mid-cap space, again, it's the industrials, the cyclicals, and the NBFCs. Those are the companies which will have the greatest earnings safety in the upcoming quarter. So, whereas in the large cap space, metals are likely to see a downdrift of earnings. So we would approach it more on an industrial space because valuations have also corrected in that space.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's sort of girdle ourselves up for Monday's trade. Thankfully, Wednesday is a holiday. I wish. Chakri, were you in the market when December 25th to December 31st used to be a holiday on the Bombay Stock Exchange? Do you remember those lovely days?
Good old times, but now we work on January 1st also. So that's the way it is.
Sakshi, markets. Markets.
I did not know if there was used to be a holiday.
Every yes. So 12 to 2:30 on a regular basis, and on a daily basis, and December 25th to December 31st used to be a holiday. All of us used to be in Goa. Those were unbelievably good days. Anyway, the markets are upon us, and good days will return. Why not? Let's look at how the performance is as far as the index heavyweights are concerned. It's not started good for HDFC Bank. 4% lower, 1700. Of course, this will improve. Now down just 21 rupees, 1750. Okay. Now let's look at the good news first. Banks are doing well. SBI 2.2% higher. Tata Motors 2.2% higher. Reliance 2.2% higher. TCS 2% higher. Bajaj Finance 1.5% higher. So this is looking good. Let's hope this does not get sold into. Now what is in pain? For some strange reason, Infosys is down 115 rupees, but this will improve. HDFC Bank is 11 rupees lower at 1760. Kotak Bank is down 3.5 rupees. ICICI Bank is down 3.4. Let's very quickly look into the NSE 500 space. Okay, JBM Auto 18% higher, 1938. Maneuver 1470, 13% higher. Remember, it's the wedding season, so a lot of purchases are happening on flashy clothes. PNB 10% higher. I wish this would continue, but it won't. 110.84. I just want to see what insurance stocks are doing, because they would be taken to the cleaners. Lot of disappointment coming in from the market, from the GST Council. A quick look at NIACL, 2 percentage points lower, 210. GIC Ray, it still hasn't opened, but it was a record high on Friday. Let's hope you see some hope there. But in the pain are Pru ICICI, HDFC Life, SBI Life, all of them sort of being very, very disappointed. Let's get back to Chakri and continue this conversation in the markets. Chakri, when you look at charts of Asian Paints, I see a price that we had seen earlier in 2021. Yes, to some extent Asian Paints was an overvalued and much liked stock. But in this day and age, are we going to revisit COVID levels?
What has happened between 2021 to now is there's been a lot of new competition and sizable competition, whether it's JSW Paints or Opus. All these companies are very big players, well-established distribution networks, and their distribution channels that they sell into of their other products is very similar to the paint segment. And therefore, it's not that it's a brand new company with an unknown brand. Whether it's JSW Paints or the other paints which are coming in, new companies which are coming in, very large distribution channels and strong brand presence. So therefore, the margins for Asian paints and the whole industry has come down, will continue to come down, and it's becoming a volume game. And therefore, the multiples that we gave Asian paints 3-4 years ago, we wouldn't be able to do so now. And therefore, I think the stock will continue to derate.
Okay. Another space that Chakri we want your attention on is the pharma space as well. How are you really approaching this one? There has been a lot of interest from investors across the board, be it the main board pharma players, the healthcare or the diagnostic names right there. What really gives you the confidence that can continue to provide comfort to the portfolio as a good hedge to the portfolios in the year 2025?
Within the pharma pack has done really well in the year gone by, and within that, some of the companies like Dr. Reddy have not done so well, and this is partly because of an expected competition in the US for some of their products. In a year or so, Revlimid will lose its protection. But on the other hand, the whole sector needs to be a little bit more cautious, given that the new government in the US is likely to have tariffs and various kinds of things across various industries. So therefore, any export-related segment we have to be slightly more careful, look out for the new policies, and then make the investments accordingly. Therefore, be more cautious on pharma.
The other wonder sector, Chakri, that has come up is that old world favorite, which is textile stocks. Problems in Bangladesh continue to have a good effect on many textile companies, especially the ones that are integrated from yarn to garment, plus garment makers such as Gokaldas. Which side of the equation do you stand there? And any favorite in the textile space which you feel has merit and strong legs?
You're right in terms of, the sector has come back, and I think it's for all the right reasons. One is, the problems in Bangladesh and other export countries have played to benefit of Indian textile companies. And the US is still a very strong market for all these companies. And we have seen from the data that, US is actually consumer is picking up. And against this backdrop, I think Indian textile Gokuldas will stand to benefit amongst other textile companies. Uh, and I think, whether it's integrated players from yarn to textile or even just the back end players, all of them will benefit in this trade. And I think even though the stocks are run up, I'd still buy into a Gokuldas.
Okay, Gokul Das could be looked at from the textile space. The other spaces, I guess you were discussing with Shell on the pre-positioning ahead of the budget, where you talked about defense and fertilizers. You're still cautious there, you'd avoid that. What about the renewable energy space? Do you think there will be, more attention from investors within this space in the run-up to the budget? Yet again, are there any interesting names that have emerged in front of you too, where you're looking at for potential benefits?
Renewable energy as a space, continues to be important, and they'll continue, and the budget will continue to see, because India is an oil-dependent country. Import anything that does away with reducing the dependence on oil is good for Indian economy and fiscal deficits. Therefore, Adani Green as a stock has corrected fairly significantly. They have very big plans. They're going to establish the largest renewable plant in Gujarat in the world. And they've already operationalized about 2 gigawatts. So therefore, and the stock is corrected for the recent news. So that's one stock to look at. And other companies in that space, NTPC Green, Again, a large company, government-owned, and therefore will see the benefits of all the government announcements.
Right.
907, ladies and gentlemen, we have almost 150 point uptick on the Nifty. A very warm, welcome and soothing sight. Can't remember the last time I saw this kind of green. The Nifty Bank is trying to open 285 points higher, a 240 point uptick on the IT index and a half a percentage point uptick on the NSE 500. It will be critical to note whether this continues beyond the first hour, the first half an hour of trade, and then probably you just might see a very strong bout of short covering. Remember, Wednesday is a holiday. You have not only a truncated week, this is the monthly expiry, this is the final expiry for 2024, and since September we've had a series of very high selling pressure. So let's hope that mutual funds get into action. Sakshi, they're sitting on 2,40,000 crore rupees of investor cash that needs to be deployed, but let us see how that goes. A very quick view on Chakri stocks such as Dabur, such as Marico, Hindustan Unilever, ITC in particular. Is there merit for long-term investors, or should they remain in pause mode?
Will kind of help because there are no catalysts, very few catalysts which can take the stocks up. The recent earnings disappointments have been all volume led, which means demand is kind of weak, and pricing power, of course, has been absent for quite a while now. Against this backdrop, there is no rural or urban uptake in particular which will help these stocks. So let them drift for some more time, and then we can have a look at them.
Chakri, let's also take your attention to Zomato, the newest entrant into the Sensex from today. How are you really looking at this vis-a-vis Swiggy, which has catapulted, sharply higher over the last 1 week, 10 days odd, to catch up on the valuation? Brokerage houses giving higher targets on that one too. Your sense of how should one look at Zomato versus Swiggy right now?
Swiggy's trades are like a good 40-50% discount to Zomato. And, for not Zomato's entry into the various indexes will actually work to Swiggy's benefit as well.
Okay.
Because, it is the number 2 player in the segment. And the number 2 players are always, playing catch up, which is a good thing from a valuation perspective, because as they deliver, then, the valuation moves up. So, we have been buyers in the stock right from the IPO to the below the IPO price. So I think there's still sufficient upside because, they both have roughly 50% market share each. They both make profits and losses depending upon which subsegment they are in. And in terms of Blinkit and Instamart, both of them quick commerce is making a very big inroads. And therefore, I think clearly we can buy Swiggy.
For your clients, Chakri, what are the last 2 or 3 stocks that you've bought in the long-term portfolio? Have you averaged earlier purchases, or have you made any new entries in their portfolios?
Swiggy is one of the stocks where you actually kind of consistently bought into right from the IPO to the fall, just on the IPO days. Then in the recent fall, we've added some of the Adani stocks because when you look at Adani Ports, the company is a very important company, one of the largest the port companies in India, with a 25% earnings growth over the next few years to come. And therefore, the various newses have impacted the stock. So that's one thing we've bought into. Power finances, loan growth is unlikely to, loan growth concerns are not there in the power financiers, whether it's PFC or REC. And their NPAs are very low. Book is very strong, and they trade at extremely good valuations of about 1-time book.
Okay. Oh, got it. Viewers will be waiting for another guest also to join in and share her perspective. Vaishali Parikh, Vice President Technical Research and Analysis from Prabhudas Leeladhar, is now with us on board. So let's also welcome her. Vaishali, a warm welcome. Good morning. Good to have you with us. Some sides of green that we can see after a whole week of deep red on the street. Your sense, does that give you any confidence for this week, or truncated play will and the expiry play will again be a spoiled sport for the Indian traders? What's your expectation?
Very good morning, all of you. Yes, we have seen a good beating in the last few days. So I guess some bounce back, and today also we are seeing Gift Nifty pre-opening is on a positive note. But the conviction lies only about 24,000, 24,200. So till then, I think the downside potential of 23,200, 22,500 cannot be ruled out. So wait and watch. Index and stocks have been in deep oversold. So yes, for now, bounce back is expected.
Good morning to you, Vaishali, and a very warm welcome at a time when there is almost a deep snow on Dalal Street as far as sentiment is concerned. How do you see stocks
morning,
such as
very good
Asian Paints revisiting their 2021 lows?
So I guess, the bias is corrective, but I would say that yes, some bounce back can be expected at these levels, but I wouldn't be an aggressive buyer at these levels. I'd rather go for stocks which still show strength in a market like this.
Okay. Any key stocks then, Vaishali, for today you've kept an eye on?
So I would say maybe stocks like Larsen. That is one of the stocks that is to our liking. Banking stocks, once again, I would say Axis Bank has come towards a crucial support level. So it would be a contrarian view. Of course, there isn't a reversal on the charts, but a contrarian view on these stocks because they have seen a good beating and technically taken a good support at these levels.
Fair point. We just have about 20-30 seconds for the market to begin. Let's hope, ladies and gentlemen, the worst is behind us and that we move in positive territory over the next 2 or 3 days. Very, very strong selling pressure in the last 5 sessions. The Nifty posted its worst week in many months, and this green uptick, whether it's a dead cat bounce or something which can sustain, would be very welcome. 175 points higher on the Nifty. This is such a sight to sore eyes. 23,750. 370 points higher on the Nifty Bank. 230 points higher on Nifty IT. And the Nifty 500 index, the broadest measure, is up 142. Now let's look at what is bringing this cheer. Okay. First off, all 10 index heavyweights are in the green. Sakshi, this is such a relief. Okay, Tata Motors, something that Vaishali and I discuss off screen. 5% higher, 729. HDFC Bank, 21 rupees higher. Reliance, 11 rupees higher. Bajaj Finance, 43 rupees higher. Infosys, 11 rupees higher. ICICI Bank, 10 rupees higher. SBI and Kotak also in the green. What's buzzing? In terms of gainers, on the NSE 500, India Cement, this is news-led. Ultratech, the acquirer, has got government permission to go ahead with the merger. Up 8% at 367. SW Solar, 3.6% higher. You have Just Dial, 2.8% higher. In the green, Mankind Pharma, 2% higher. Varun Beverages Limited, 2.5% higher. What is in pain? I'm sure insurance stocks. Let's look at NIACL. Okay, 3.2% higher, 207. You have Suven Pharmaceuticals, news of a buyout, 5% higher, 1126. Suven Pharma has acquired a company. IGL, pain ahead, 2% higher, 380.35. Star Health, 2.2% lower, 475. In the red is Titagarh Systems, 1285, 2% lower. Inox Wind in the red, 5-star in the red, UTI AMC bleeding 0.6%. So far so good. 185 points higher, and I see a lot of green ticks coming into the system. Let's look at the top traded ones. Let us see where do we see a lot of momentum. Zomato, because of that disappointment coming in from the GST Council, is the top traded counter, down 1.3%. You have a strong move coming back into MobiKwik, 8.5% higher, 523. India Cement is there, Mazgaon in the green, that's good. GIC Ray, this is again the insurance play, record high on Friday and disappointment today, minus 1.8%, 492. JSW Steel is out of the Sensex, but there is this move by the government to at least listen to or set up a panel to recommend import duties on steel coming in from China. So that's benefiting the steel companies, and of course you have Manappuram Finance and SW Solar. Anything that catches your interest in the first 10 minutes of trade, Vaishali, what would you do?
I think Manappuram, but I would still go for the front lines like Kotak Bank. I would go for HDFC Bank. Those would be the stocks to my liking right now.
Metals are shining bright, 1.5% higher for the Nifty Metals Index. Stocks like JSW Steel, Tata Steel, Hindalco, they're all buzzing in trade. Steel Authority of India, that's the space to watch at. Let me bring in Chakri into the conversation. Chakri, is there a case to buy into the metals today? Because, you know, largely the excesses have been taken out on the downside. You know, demand is low, stocks have not really done anything. What we also know is that China is coming back, interest rates are moving down. So is it a good time to really get into metals?
You know, if this import duty is actually placed, then basically, you know, it makes the Indian steel companies' products actually still about a 5% more expensive than the imports. And you know, imports. This is just a temporary phenomenon for the next month or two. You know, once you know Trump comes in and all the tariffs on the metal spaces are kind of implemented, at least news comes out, then we'll get a better sense on it. So given that, we will stay away from the metals. If we do need to play, then Jindal Steel and Power, I think, you know, stock has corrected quite a lot. They have done some capacity expansion, and that debt levels are fairly okay. So Jindal Steel and Power.
Fair point. We'll just take a detour into the broader markets and see how the advanced decline ratio is faring. Well, in the first 5-7 minutes of trade, you have 1687 shares in the green, 517 in the red. Sakshi, I cannot believe what this is. All 19 indices that we track are in the green, and thankfully so. Led by metals, 1.4% higher, 8937. Within metals, steel stocks are doing phenomenally well because of the government's step to at least listen to the industry and talk about, or let's at least discuss the heavy import of very cheap steel that is coming in from China and destroying pricing sentiment in the market. Let's also look at stocks such as Hind Motors for some reason is up 12.86%. I'm talking about top winners. India Cement 9% higher now. 118 crores worth of shares have been traded. You have any other name? Star Cement up 5% at 224. Anything else? Yes, garment maker Thomas Scott Circuit up 5%, 476. What else is on the move? Quest. This is something that just 10 minutes ago you had Chakri talking about at 4% higher, 724. So these are the stocks that I'd just like to name as far as top best performers are concerned. Any all-time highs in the market? Okay. Zen Technologies. You have PGIL. That's PGIL. This is a different company. My apologies. And of course, what else? These are the names that I'd like to take on air. Could you, Chakri, elaborate the thesis behind Quest Corp at the moment? What are the 2 or 3 things that attract you to the share?
You know, Quest Corp, you know, is kind of going to benefit from the various schemes of the government to try and improve employment interns, whether it's internship, hirings, or companies adding workforce. And today, the company is fairly diverse, right from, general workforce, facility management, IT, recruitment. So they're there present in the various sectors. Yeah, so as the economy kind of revives somewhere in hopefully by and after a quarter or so, when interest rates start happening in India, Questcorp will be one of the beneficiaries because facilities management, all these, and the stock itself has underperformed over the last couple of years. So given that, I think the valuations are in its favor.
Okay. Vaishali, look at the cement stocks that are buzzing. How would you really trade this space today? Ultratech has acquired some stake in India Cements. The stock has jumped up 9.5%. Apart from this, Star Cement is also in the buzz, and the entire space is now in thick action. What stock looks good within the cement pack?
So I would still look at Ramco Cement. Ramco Cement relatively is doing quite well. So Ramco Cement has always been doing well since quite some time. So this is one of the stocks to my liking. But besides that, I think even ACC Ambuja are not bad. They can be have a look at.
Okay, got that. Ramco, ACC, Ambuja, those are the key pockets that you can look at. Metals are going strong, 1.4% higher. Apart from this, it's the Nifty Bank that's nearly up a percent. That's also doing well. IT is up by 1% as well. All the sectors are up into the green right now, and that's a big, big relief that's coming in. On the Nifty, we have Shriram Finance now buzzing higher, 2.2% up at 2940. Let's get in Chakri here. Chakri, how are you really approaching the NBFC space, the stocks like Shriram Finance? What is your approach there? Or do you like, again, the likes of the large caps like Bajaj Finance or so? How would you really look at this space?
If you look at Shriram Finance, the company has corrected, stock has corrected fairly significantly in the recent past. This is on fears of slowdown in the loan growth, whether it's to the commercial vehicles and those segments. And also that story is fairly well known now, fairly well discounted. The stock has kind of corrected, so I think it's time to nibble into Shriram Finance.
Sakshi, I think there is a very, very strong move that is coming into the pharma space, and even the Nifty is showing signs of strength now, 194 points higher, 23,782. Remember my thick gold chain that I wore? I wonder, Chakri, whether you noticed Friday's show on Business Today Television and a video that I had put out of myself on Friday dressing. Vaishali will also want to comment on my new look, but if your comments are negative, then well, please desist from making observations. Plus, do look at the video. Pharma in top shape. Look at the move that is coming in on Glenmark, 1.6% higher, 1566. There is a strong move on Lupin, and of course there is the index itself in top shape. Vaishali, anything that looks good in the pharma space to you on the charts?
I think Lupin looks very good right now at this level. It should get into a trend, and I think overall, to my understanding, pharma should take the lead from here on when market is so indecisive.
Okay, got that. Let's also look at some of the other pockets. Okay, Indigo is now buzzing in the F&O space. It had got higher targets from brokerage houses. That's up by about 2.3%. Manappuram Finance is also in the buzzing zone in the F&O space. Shriram Transport Finance, Ashok Leyland. These are some of the stocks that are buzzing. Let's look at the gainers in the broader markets list. Yes, you do have some stocks that I could just point out. I think auto ancillaries is something that you can look at. Sundaram Brakes is buzzing in trade. Apart from this, are there any other interesting names? Again, from the textile space, it's Mohit Industries, a smaller one that's buzzing. Then Arkitply Industries is also on the upper move. When we also look at Astron Paper, that's also moving. Of course, India Cements we've already marked. Questcorp is what Shell has marked 5% higher. TCI Finance is buzzing in trade. That's as far as the broader markets are concerned. In the Nifty next 50 list, it's again Varun Beverages that has been continuously moving up slowly and gradually. It continues to show up even in trade today. Then apart from that, are there any other? Geo Finance is also nearly up by 0.7, 0.8%. Samvardhan is up by 0.5% as well. Bosch is up. Auto ancillaries, Vaishali, are you looking at this space at all?
Today I'm looking at JBM Auto. Let's have a look at that chart because we were seeing some momentum in that.
Okay.
Let us see JBM Auto. This is one stock which can do well from here on. It's
Okay.
opened with a gap up and it should show some strength to go towards 1720, 1730 to start with as a trading strategy. But I think this should do good.
Nifty 460 points higher, 51,000 is back with the wheels, 51,220 for you, and it's HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank that are powering this rally. But one stock of interest, ladies and gentlemen, is Ramco Cement. For those who are very, very keen on buying a cement counter for the real long term, this is a stock that they should look at. 999, a bit of a disaster on Friday, but the long-term charts are what Vaishali is going to comment on, and then maybe Chakri's view on Ramco Cement.
So, according to me, Ramco Cement did very well post Diwali. That was what we were tracking since a very long time. We saw a little bit of retracement, but I think again it is a good buying opportunity to accumulate. Take near-term support as 950, and I guess positional trade one can look for a target of 1050 to even 1100 levels.
Okay, got it. Chakri, we'll take one word before we let you go on the show, and that is on the outlook of 2025. What is your key expectation right there? What should investors really go into this new year with an expectation and a strategy that you can share?
The markets have corrected a fair little bit, and also on the downgrade of earnings, unexpected downgrade of earnings. So from that perspective, I think pretty much the bottom is intact. With RBI rate cuts going to happen early next year, I think that way the market should position itself into cyclicals, industrials, and financiers, which will benefit from an interest rate cut. And as the economy revives, those are the sectors which will benefit the most.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's 9:30, and so far the bulls have somehow managed to keep their castle sort of safe from bears in the first 15 odd minutes of trade. Let's again revisit the top traded counters and see what's clicking. It's the internet space that is in thick trade. Zomato down 1.86%, MobiKwik now up just 2.75%, but heavy activity here. 268 crores worth of transactions already done. India Cement in top form, 9% higher. Anything in pain? Okay. Remember Vishal Mega Mart, the mega listing, now profit booking 3% lower at 98.2. CDSL flat at 1856 with a red tick. KNS Technologies 1.9% lower, 7167. Okay. Manappuram and SW Solar are in top shape. Final word from you, Vaishali, on Manappuram Finance. What are the charts telling you? Strong move now at 185.6, 2.5%.
So I would say Manappuram Finance, the correction we have seen, it's pretty much over. And I guess once I think this can go towards 200 levels as resistance. But if it sustains above that, it's ready for an upward move of 220 to 230. So it is getting back into a trend. My view is positive for this. 170 acts as a good support. So my view would be to accumulate at every dip.
Okay. Got that. So that's as far as this space is concerned. Let's also look at Varun Beverages yet again, which I marked a while ago. Anything that catches your attention here, Vaishali? How have you been really looking at the momentum that freshly built up over the last 10 days, 15 days on into the stock? Do you think there is merit in looking at this one at the current levels too?
So I think again this too has opened with a gap up, but what is important is 600 level should remain intact, and it needs to move past 640 levels. So once that happens and it sustains above that, I guess we are seeing an upward trajectory towards 670 or so.
Okay, got that. Well, 23,775, 185 points higher in trade on the Nifty. What's also doing well is the real estate pack now, Vaishali. Macrotech is again up 2.6%. Again, one of the outperformers in the real estate space this year so far. Phoenix Mills, Brigade, DLF, Godrej Properties, Sobha, all of these pockets are actually buzzing. What looks good to you within the real estate pack? Do you think one can still take a bet after the recent run up?
So I would say, Macrotech Lodha, that is what we have spoken about very many times, and I have also
Yeah.
recommended. So this still, the trend is long-term trend. If you see, it's still intact. There is no damage to the trend. So I guess 1350, 1380 should be the support levels, and that would keep the upward trend intact. If those levels break, then that damages the trend. But till then, it is a positive move, and I think for long-term perspective, even for a positional trade, one can look for a target of 1700 so on.
Okay, got
So
that.
this is definitely one of the stocks. And besides that,
Yeah,
well, Godrej Properties and DLF can be on the radar.
sure. So Macrotech, DLF and Godrej Properties is something that we can definitely look at from the real estate space. Even now the space looks better or like, good to look at. From Vaishali's perspective. Vaishali, we were talking about Varun Beverages, but look at the sister company, Devyani International, that's gone up 5% in trade today. That's also suddenly on the move. In fact, this entire hospitality space seems to be in thick action. Sapphire Foods is up in trade. Then you have some of the other pockets also. Of course, tourism is a large part of it too, but some such stocks are also buzzing. Tourism, hotel stocks, hospitality stocks. What looks good to you here, Vaishali?
So, well, Indian Hotel is the favorite. It has, in spite, if you saw last week, in spite of all the choppiness and in spite of all the mayhem that we witnessed in the market, this was still holding very well. So, I guess to those who are holding Indian Hotel should continue to do so. And besides that, as far as the are concerned, I think Varun Beverage still is my favorite. The others, I would just take it as a trading bet.
Okay, Nifty Bank is further garnering the momentum. That is where we need to pay attention to now. Nifty Bank is up by 1.1%. The one that is pulling the Nifty Bank higher is HDFC Bank, 1801 right now. Of course, it's trading near the all-time highs. Your sense on this one, Vaishali? HDFC Bank, after momentum has built on the last few weeks, will you continue to bet on this stock for 2025?
I would definitely agree. So, because Bank Nifty still has to do its part of an
Yeah.
upward move, and banking stocks have seen a good beating. And to my understanding, of course, exact bottom fishing won't be possible. But I would say that on the worst scenario, taking into all the parameters, I think Bank Nifty can witness 49,500. So, we are pretty much close. The correction is nearly done. So, I would say start accumulating these quality stocks.
Fair point. 9:36, ladies and gentlemen. So far, we've had a fairly decent outing on Dalal Street. Sakshi's marked Nifty Bank, but it's within the Nifty Bank that you see a lot of shuffling happening for the beta. Kotak Bank, one of the biggest laggards that we have seen over the last 5 years, is also up today, up about 1%, 1756. A bigger laggard than Kotak Bank has been IndusInd Bank, 0.7% higher at 936. The rally is led by the sector leader, and that's such a relief. 1.5% higher on HDFC Bank 1800. ICICI Bank is now 1.2% higher, 1302. SBI in the green, a percent higher. So this is good news for those who were hoping for continuation of this rally. No stopping India Cement. Let me just see the chart of India Cement. It's been a while since I have watched that counter in detail. It's coming back into focus, okay. And this was in consolidation from 29th of July till about 4th of December, and now scaling its previous glory. Very strong move and volume coming in. Let's look at volume buzzers from the point of view of gainers with a rising move. Okay, Intellect Design, this is a quality software company which is doing immensely well on the markets, 7.2% higher, 880. Very strong volumes, already 200% of 5-day average. Coming to you, Vaishali, what are the charts of Intellect Design telling you?
I think Intellect Design is showing a very buoyant move. It has already given a very good movement already. So new buy I won't suggest, but to those who are holding should continue holding. It's given a breakout coming out of the consolidation range. So continue holding. I think this is ready for higher targets. So yes, it can go towards 950, 980 from here on. It's a positive view.
Got that. I think new age internet space is something that we were looking at, and now 197 Communications is also pulling up in the F&O space. That's Paytm. Vaishali, are you looking at the charts of Paytm these days? What's really the current momentum looking like?
Yes, so Paytm is one of our recommendations, and I think we have spoken about it right from 650 levels. So the trend is very strong, just like how I mentioned about Indian Hotel. Paytm also has been doing very well. I guess this would be once again a good buying opportunity to those who have missed out. 850 is the support. Near-term support lies at 940, but otherwise the prominent support is at 850. So I would say buy this stock for a target of first 1050. Above that it could go to 1100, 1200. So when I'm seeing the weekly chart also, it shows a lot of strength. I would be recommending a buy again.
$9.39. We have about 20 minutes to go. Let's look at the small cap and the mid cap index. What are they doing? They should also be in the green. Sakshi, remember when the market started, you had 1687 stocks in the green and about 537 in the red. Well, it's just reversed. Now just 829 stocks are in the green, 1445 are in the red. At the opening quote, all 19 indices were in the green. Now 5 are in the red. The selling pressure is on Nifty Alpha 50 from the mid cap space. Nifty Bank top performer, 1% higher. Nifty Financial Services top performer, 1.1% higher, 1.01% higher. Realty is in top shape. Metals doing well because of steel companies. Still you have Nifty up 0.6%, but remember 0.6% or 142 points. It was up 191 points in early trade. Let's look at the pullers and draggers. Well, it's banks all the way. HDFC Bank contributing 37 points to Nifty's green tally. ICICI Bank contributing 30 points. Bharti Airtel 12, Reliance and ITC 9 and 8% respectively. What is pulling the Nifty down? Okay, these are bit losses, but bit losses are totaling up to quite a few losses. What's the advanced decline within the Nifty? 30s to 20, so that's good. So far, banks, which are helping, of course, the Nifty Bank, but also the Nifty, but real estate, metals, and some parts of IT are doing well. Sakshi.
Okay. Well, the market pockets which have slipped lower include small caps, that's down by 0.7% now. You also have the mid caps that are down 0.3%. So the broader markets are turning weaker right after the first 20 minutes or 25 minutes of trade has played out. Consumer durables are seeing some profits being taken off, 0.4% lower for this one. Pharma And even the auto and slight losses in the PSU banking space is something that we can definitely keep an eye out on. The PSE index has also turned flat right now. Realty, the Nifty bank, including financial services and private banks, are in good shape right now. Metals are pulling up, and you have infra and oil and gas stocks, including some IT stock also as gainers. These are the pockets which are continuing to be in the green zone right now. When we talk about the key stocks, then HDFC Bank is definitely something that you can look at. The top mover right now on the Nifty. JSW Steel, Shriram Finance, Trent is now pulling up 1.5% higher. Then you also have other stocks within the steel pack, JSW Steel, Hindalco, Tata Steel, that's also on the buzzing zone. But a large part of the Nifty is also slipped into the red right now. Let us look at the key pockets which now are drawing our attention, which is even the let me look at the FMCG space to see if there is anything interesting that is coming up here. Apart from Varun Beverages, it's ITC that's now hovering around at 470 odd levels. Tata Consumer Products, HUL, Dabur, Nestle, some gains are coming back. Vaishali, within the FMCG pack, does anything interest you at this point in time? What about ITC and expectations there?
I think ITC has been very gradual, so I think this is quite all right at these levels. 460 acts as a support actually, and once we see a move above 480 levels, I think this can go towards higher targets. So yes, ITC, there isn't much damage. If I were to say, I would consider this, and I would also look at Tata Consumer because I think downside risk is limited. So I'm waiting for a reversal in that.
9:43, ladies and gentlemen. I think the shining stars are from the realty and the hospital space. Look at Aster DM, 4.4% higher in trade today, up 21 at 507. Fairly decent volumes of about 3,17,000 shares. In top form is Lodha, something that Vaishali has marked very, very aggressively. DLF is in great shape, 2% higher, 846. This is National Capital's biggest real estate developer. Old world laggards, AU Bank coming back into action. When was the last time we marked it? I don't recollect. Oberoi Realty. This has one of the strongest RSIs on the charts on a monthly basis, 1% higher, 2271. Voltas in the green. But overall, you see fairly strong selling pressure coming into stocks like Solar Industries, 2.5% higher, 9,546. Vedant slipping about 0.2% lower. Rainbow Hospitals 1.9% down at 1518. What is at a new low? Okay, IRCTC, something that I had marked in my opening commentary, 784.35. There is profit booking happening on Berger Paints, 1.1% lower. Let me tell you the all-time high of Berger Paints. This is 625, and we saw that in September of 2024. No, actually much higher, 675. We saw it in 25th of September 2023, and now at 440. So you see how the entry of a well deep-pocketed player like the Birla Group in the paint sector has changed the dynamics of the sector completely. What you see on Berger was last seen, Sakshi, hold your breath, on 1st of September 2020. So Berger is actually at a 4-year low, and this is something that is really, really painful for long-term shareholders of many paint companies such as Berger and Asian Paints. A quick comment on Aster DM, Vaishali. This is a hospital stock which has been on the run since about 434, 444 rupees. What do you think of it?
Yes, so Aster DM is a very good stock. Even we have our coverage on this. So chartically also, I would say today it has shown good strength. And to those who have not bought, take 480 as support and look for a target of 550, 560.
Okay. Got that. Let us look at Trent again. It's picking up further pace. Vaishali, how are you looking at Trent now after the recent consolidation has played out? Can one still look at it?
So trend, the long-term chart has been pretty decent. This correction was required, and for now, well, there isn't much to say. It's just going into a consolidation. But well, for now, I would say 6,200 acts as a support, and for near term, it's 6,700. Take a range of 6,900 to 7,200 as resistance. If it moves above that, then it's getting back into the trend. So I would say yes, go for it with 6,700 as the support.
Okay.
9:47, Vaishali. Let's just look at some psychological questions. What are the traders at Prabhudas Leeladhar talking to each other about, and what are the advice that you are giving to options traders after the weekly expiries have been taken away, and how are they reacting to this? At Prabhudas, have you seen a drop in daily trading volume?
Yes, definitely, because well, right now market has been uncertain, so there isn't much activity happening. But quality stocks are definitely considered, and well, options. I've never been in favor. I mean, I'm not an option trader at all. But yes, I would always recommend to. These are the opportunities when market is getting into a panic mode to look for opportunities for quality stocks. So that is how we look at our clients and we suggest accordingly.
Okay. Got that. Let us again look at some of the other pockets that we can look at for Vaishali to comment on too. Okay, let's look at the oil and gas space, Vaishali. Why I'm asking this is that this has been one of the PSU pockets that's garnered a lot of interest of investors in this 2024 year, especially the OMCs with the way they have outperformed. So many times you've marked out BPCL, HPCL on our channel as well. What is your expectation now going into the new year? Will this space continue to be in thick trade?
So they have been laggards. I mean, technically speaking, yes, they are very well placed, but we need to see a continuation in the trend. But so far, we have not been seeing that. So I would rather focus on GAIL or ONGC as compared to OMCs right now. So I would look at those stocks.
Okay.
There is some activity happening on Jindal Steel and Power, 2.5% higher, 931. This, remember, ladies and gentlemen, is the highest beta stock that we have in the steel space, as also in the FNO steel section. What are the medium-term charts telling you, Vaishali? We've seen a high of, I think, 1,010, now at almost 930.
So well, I would once again say that yes, the downside is limited. This too has seen good corrective move in the recent past. I would say there isn't much of a downside from here on. I would say 890 is the support and start accumulating because the long term projections are very strong. One can look at a target of 1050 to 1100.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the stock in the space is concerned within the metals pack. What else is buzzing within the banking space is Bandhan Bank in the FNO space, 2.8% higher, 160 to 163. This stock has actually not done anything in 2024 for investors to really look at. It's been largely out of sight. Do you think 32% kind of a fall in the last 1 year, after that kind of a correction, does it make sense to look at Bandhan?
I don't really suggest because well, all these stocks they do get into momentum and some negative news and all, and we see a gap down. So I'd rather focus on ICICI, HDFC Bank, and Kotak Bank. These are the stocks to my liking at this juncture.
Okay.
Sakshi, I had done this video yesterday on Friday about the worst behind us, about how you had seen a very very strong inflow coming in as far as the last 5-7 minutes of trade were concerned on Friday, and maybe I just got lucky. But so far, it's 542 points on Nifty Bank. It's 44,000 that's being reclaimed by the IT index. Nifty is in top shape because of four banks, HDFC and ICICI Bank in particular, and of course you have strength that is coming into pharma, and I think the top performing sector will be the realty space. Look at Brigade Enterprises, Prestige Real Estates, DLF, Lodha, and several other smaller mid caps in the real estate space, all of them buzzing in the green. 9:52, we have 8 minutes left for this show to draw to a close. MobiKwik 503. Vaishali, very little price data and charts, but what do you think of this stock?
Let me have a look. It comes at MobiKwik, right? Well, I don't have this chart. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, not a problem, but it's just 4 days of listing. Yeah, tell me, please go ahead.
So I guess it's getting into a higher top as of now, formation, and 480 should act as a support. And if all going well, if it again moves past 540 levels, look for 570, 580.
Okay, got that. What else is buzzing is again the textile space is something that Vaishali will draw your attention to. CRM Silks is again on the move. There are many other stocks that are also buzzing in this space. I remember we have discussed Raymond so many times. Would you
Yes.
want to go beyond Raymond, or would you stick with that one within the textile space?
No, there are so many in the cash category also. I mean, all these are in the cash category. Of course,
Sure.
there is RSW, there is Banswara. All these stocks are doing well. In fact, even Philatex, stocks like Philatex, all these stocks have shown good momentum, and I would continue to stay focused on these selective stocks.
Right.
It has done well. In
9:54, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that is looking good. So far, we've managed to hold about 150, 160 points on the Nifty. 23,750 is a battleground now. But in top shape is the Nifty Bank. 51,264, up a strong 1 percentage points. What else is buzzing? I can't take my eyes off HDFC Bank, but I think Asian Paints has taken it upon itself to redeem some of its lost glory. It's up 4 percentage points today. Is it? Just a moment. No, I see something else. My apologies. It's the difference, okay. So it's still about half a percentage point higher. Nothing to be worried about. Fertilizer stocks are in top shape. You have Deepak Fertilizers 0.8% higher. This is something that has been a high beta counter in the space of fertilizers. Let's look at how the charts are there. Okay, very nice, very nice. There's a 10-12 days of selling, and now an uptick with a broader market in the green. Deepak Fertilizers for you, Vaishali, what do you think?
So I like this stock. This is again giving a scope of a new buying strategy over here also, because this has been an outperformer compared to all the other fertilizer stocks. So, well, I would say to those who are holding can continue to hold, but otherwise it's a good buying opportunity for a longer term target of 1400 or so.
Okay, got that. Just about 4 minutes to go before we wind up the morning edition. It's panned out stable, yet 23,700 is now at the risk of being taken out. So we'll just keep an eye out on whether that sustains about. Will we see some more volatility play out through the course of the day? Is something that we have to watch out for again. Apart from the secondary markets, remember viewers, you can also look at the IPO space. Unimec Aerospace Manufacturing IPO will be opening in trade today. So for subscription, so you can definitely look at that one. And remember, in the grey market premium already there is a sharp indication on day one itself, and the company is aiming to raise 500 crores through a fresh issue, and the rest of it will be offer for sale as well. In fact, 745 to 785 rupees per share is the IPO price band for a lot size of 19 shares on this one. Again, the company is, like I said, it's already commanding a strong premium of 60-65% in the grey market right here. The company will be will remain open for subscription for 3 days from today until December 26th. Is something that you can definitely look at in case IPO space is something that you are watching out for. 3 minutes to go, Vaishali, for the day today. Any key strategy and key stock that you'd like to advise before we let you go?
So I would say look at Bharti Airtel also, because that has comparatively been quite steady. So 1550 acts as a good support, and I think this can go towards 1650. Have a look at this. If it comes closer to the support level, and it should not break, 1550 should be the support, and above that, if it sustains, we're looking at higher targets.
Okay. Strength is coming back into Intellect Design, now 8.5% higher. Bajaj Holdings is something that we've tracked in great detail. After hitting a record high of about 12,000, of about 11,500, the counter is now back into action. It's up about 2.5%, 11,011. Please keep an eye out on this one. There is no reason why this will not reclaim an all-time high. Aptus Limited is something that we haven't marked for many days. Below 200-day DMA, 312, 3% higher. Indraprastha Gas is coming back into action, still down 0.5%, but days high. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We've sort of managed to keep our head above the green. 23,716 on the Nifty. Top form by Nifty Bank, 450 points higher. IT and NSE 500 are in the green. It's looking good. Let's hope this continues for the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Sakshi.
Absolutely. We'll start winding up the morning edition. Thank you so much, Vaishali, for being with us in this morning trade to navigate through all the moves that we've seen today. Always a pleasure hosting you. While about 0.5% of a move on the upside for the Nifty. The Nifty Bank is outperforming with about 0.9% of a move on the positive side, 51,200 as the Nifty Bank currently moves strong. Real estate space 1.3% higher, top moving index today sectorally. Apart from this, you have the private banks, financial services, Nifty metals that has been going strong and shining bright at 0.8% up. 0.5% gains across oil and gas, FMCG, and also the IT space and infra space. But what's dragged lower are the broader markets. Small caps now down 0.8%. Consumer durables, pharma, PSU banks and autos have also slipped into the lower range right now. JSW Steel is now the top performer, 2% higher on the Nifty. Shriram Finance, HDFC Bank, Tata Steel remain the other big movers on the Nifty right now, along with Hindalco and Trent. But on the lower side, you have Hero Moto that slipped, HDFC Life, Apollo Hospitals, Bajaj Auto and BEL as some of the stocks that have slipped into the red. In the F&O space, Macrotech outperforms 2.5% higher, Bandhan Bank, Paytm, Jindal Steel and Power and Macrotech as one of those top performers. On the downside, you have PVR Inox that slipped in the F&O space today, 5.7% lower. Max Financial, Dalmia Bharat, Siemens, CDSL, these are the pockets that are slipping away in the F&O space. But 23,717 right now for you on the Nifty, viewers. We'll wrap it up at that, but do stay tuned throughout the course of the day. Not just the regular market shows, we will also start to get you the year-end special shows starting today on Business Today television. Everything that you need to know about how the markets have performed through the entire year of 2024, what have been the key learnings from top market experts, and what is the outlook that they want to share as far as 2025 is concerned. So this is where you need to stay glued on to. We have number of top market voices starting today appearing on our channel to help you understand the strategies for the upcoming new year. So stay tuned.
Many countries in the tropical world seem to have an inequality problem. Climate does matter. Size matters. It's much easier for smaller countries to achieve greater equality. The system of governance